Welcome to Haunting Live Podcast, a place where we bring a new paranormal guest each episode to share their journey and experiences. For more Haunting Live real experiences, be sure to follow us on our social, on Instagram, Facebook, and also Blue Sky. And don't forget to also check us out on our official website, HauntingLivePodcast.com. And welcome to this episode of Haunting Live Podcast. We have a new guest with us this week, and she joins us all the way from out in California, USA. Please welcome SIBYL Harmony to the show.
Thank you. I'm so delighted to be on your show. Thank you for inviting me. And hello to all your viewers, wherever you are. I guess you're in Canada?
Yes, we're Ontario, Canada.
Oh, I love Canada. I've been up there. I'm in California.
Yeah, how are things out in California these days? Pretty warm?
Warmish. Yeah, we're having an early summer, and then we're a little light, not too much rain, but we're having a little bit more rain, like a warm rain, which is different. But yeah, I live in a rural area, a farm area. I feel like I live in the land of milk and honey. I just, I'm lucky where a lot of other maybe states, or you always hear bad stuff about California in the news, but I love it. It is a little expensive, but you also make more money too. So, our gas now is up to over $6.50. They keep saying in the news it's $4 gas. Well, our gas is up to $6.50 now, so it's probably going up to higher.
Yeah, ours is up here too as well, so we're dealing with the same problems. So, well, can you kind of introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about how you got into doing what you do as a healer, and I guess you do tarot as well on your channel. So tell us a little bit about how that got started.
All right. Yeah, I'd love to. Well, I, as a child, I was playing in the yard one day, and the sun talked to me. The sun, now I know as an adult that some people believe the sun is the god Apollo, from that oversaw the Temple Delphi where the 7 SIBYLs lived. But at that time, I just thought it was just normal. Maybe when I looked back, I thought, was that God? I don't know. But I was like 5 or 6 years old, and the voice said to me, "You're not alone." And I was like, okay. Like a little kid would just be like, okay. It seemed normal to me. I watched Walt Disney movies and Fantasia, and I would go outside and I imagined, or I did see, the nature spirits, and I would sing and dance, and I'd just be outside all the time. I love to do that. And I remember feeling, I think looking back, I was feeling other people's feelings, that I was very empathic and sensitive. And I remember thinking that I wanted to help the world be a better place. And I wanted to love a child the way I didn't feel that I was loved. And so I kind of went about my life and did the stuff that you were supposed to do, like get married and have kids. And I just wanted to bake pies and have a bunch of kids, be a mom. And so that didn't work too well. And when my marriage started falling apart, and my home and our business, I started looking for that childhood voice that talked to me. I always felt like something or someone was watching over me. And I do believe we all have guides watching over us, or angels, whatever you want to call them, and a higher self. And I do now believe in past lives, which was actually deleted from the Bible. I don't want to get to it. Most Buddhism and Hinduism, I think Muslims believe in past lives as well. But anyway, so I started getting flashes of past lives. Actually, I got those as a teenager. I started remembering being in places that seemed like, now that I look back on them, seemed like Lemuria. I started remembering getting these flashes of who I was, and in different lifetimes. And later, when my life started falling apart, I started asking, like, who am I? Why am I here? And looking for, like I said, for that connection that I felt as a child that I had lost through trying to fit in or have a normal life or whatever it is I was doing. And so I started learning about feng shui. I started learning about energy and frequency and spirit. And I kind of dabbled around with cards and crystals, but I started studying and learning. My motive was I was going to heal my husband at the time. I was going to fix him. Well, that didn't work out too well. But what they said to me was heal yourself. And I was like, well, how do I do that? There's nothing wrong with me. It's them. And anyway, but I did. I learned how to set boundaries. I spent years in therapy, and that was really helpful. And I like therapy, but it didn't really take me where I wanted to go and where I was going, which was a step further than that, of connecting with my spirit and my energy. And so I continued to, I remember doing the Shirley MacLaine meditations. And when I first did that and I felt my chakras, I just burst into tears. I was like, oh my God, because I'd been holding on to so much stress and anxiety and pain that I didn't even know was there. I trained with several different people. I trained with Berkeley Psychic Institute, which was Church of Divine Man, and they taught me a lot. And then I started training with people around the world who worked with angels. I liked that. And then I spent a lot of time in the South Pacific with healers. And that completely changed my life. That I went there with some CEOs, some business lawyers, and some of them saw, I turned, when I saw the healings that were happening there, it changed the way I thought about what is true and what isn't true. Because stuff that was happening there, I'm like, that can't happen. And yet it was happening. People were being healed in front of me. And I don't really want to get into what that is, because I don't want to make it about that or light people up on issues. But I turned to this lawyer, this business lawyer that was with us, and I said, did you just see that? And he couldn't see it. And my husband at the time, this was another husband, but healers attract people that need a healing, just to say it like that. But he just thought it was like, he was filming everything and he was like, this is awesome. I'm so awesome. He didn't really get what was happening on an inner level. He thought it was like an amazing video to take. But I don't know whatever happened to those videos, what he did with them. But what happened with me is I changed on the inside about what I thought was possible and connecting with energy and frequency and spirit. And there were these statues there of these deities, and they were shamans and Catholic. I'm not a Catholic, but the statues there, when I would sit and meditate with them, they started to move. And I was like, what's happening? Are my eyes playing tricks? And I brought some of the statues home with me. And like I said, I'm not religious, but I don't believe that they are. I believe that they're highly evolved, wiser beings that are here helping us. And so then I started healing people. I slowly stopped my job. At the time I was doing massage, and I was seeing angels and people's deceased relatives around them, and their chakras were lighting up, and the guides would tell me where to touch them to heal them. And I would call the angels into my hands. I was working with this Archangel Raphael. And one day I thought, this is crazy. I'm probably just making all of this up, because be an open-minded skeptic, but I was, even though all this was happening to me and I was seeing all this, I was like, I must be crazy. And I came out of the massage room where I was working on somebody, and I just said, I called the angel into my hands, and I said, come out of my hands. And I almost fell back as I stepped back, and he jumped out and he was standing right in front of me. And I was like, oh my God, this is real. You know, people were saying, go see her. She'll heal you with the angels. And my shoulder pain is gone. Or people who were like really angry all the time, I'd see them out in public and I'd be like, wow, you seem like a different person. You're not like really angry all the time anymore and stuff. So, I mean, I knew it was working, but slowly I quit that job and I opened my own practice. And I've been on this healing journey with my own awakening. I went through, you know, awakening during COVID. that was pretty crazy. And I've had my awakening has happened in stages, but every time it happens, I get kind of like more connected. And then I started doing my own YouTube channel. So I have that. I mostly like doing, and I do like world events, you could say, but I mostly like doing the spiritual videos because I really feel like I'm a spiritual spiritual teacher that is doing other things to help people, like maybe politics. I don't want to say the P word on your show, but or world events, we'll call it that. So I now I teach classes. I help people learn how to heal themselves or how to open up their abilities. And yeah, so I'm just really kind of enjoying this amazing journey. That's me and what I do. And yeah, and I try to have a sense of humor with it too, because I think that's so important, especially now, because now my guides are telling me that, you know, I keep seeing all these videos. You need to prepare. You need to get ready. I'm like, what are they talking about? We need like canned goods. I'm like, what are they saying? Is this, you know, is this the apocalypse or something? You know, but I feel like it's more like regulating our nervous system and stabilizing ourselves, because there's so much coming at people, especially of all people, but especially as you get older. But there's, you know, just like people are having trouble sleeping, people are having trouble with their health or their anxiety because of all the things that are going on in the world. So I think it's really a time for us to do moderation, or and not be so affected by the changes that are happening now, because the changes that are happening now are an inevitable part of what needs to happen for us to shift from the old paradigm into the new paradigm. I love Pisces. I'm in Vedic astrology. I'm a Pisces, so I'm not, but the toxic dark side of Pisces into a time of the new Aquarian age, which will be more group orientated, or maybe more feminine, or maybe, and we all have a male and a female side to us. But so I feel like it's important for us, with all the weather things and everything, to really look at how are we stabilizing our energy and our nervous systems to deal with all that is going on.
And do you sort of help people with that day to day when they come to see you as a client to guide them through that? What kind of examples can you give to, say, a client that has come to you recently? How have you helped them day to day?
I have a meditation technique. I'm going to be coming out with a video that people can go to my website and get, or you can book a session with me. But I have a meditation, and I call in spirit, and we do an energy healing when you're connected to, I have it in my book here. Where's my book? Okay. So in my book, White Rainbows, I have, I have a diagram, and I explain to them how you're connecting up with the cosmic energy, which is your higher self, and it goes all the way up to the higher chakras above your head, and then connect with your energy field, your frequency, and then the major chakras in your central channel from the top of your head to the tailbone. There's 7 major chakras. You have hundreds of chakras, and then kind of grounding. But a really good way to do that, because that's starting to get really sound like it's complicated, is just to tune into your breath and to breathe. Breathing is a way that you can relax yourself, because when you get into fight or flight, your breath, we start holding our breath or leaning forward or, hyper, so if you just kind of come back to yourself and tune into your breath and just notice if your body is holding on to stress, and kind of let yourself relax. Being out in nature as the weather gets warmer in the northern hemisphere is a really good time to go outside and be around nature, or to sit on the earth. And there are acupressure points if you're congested that you can massage around your nose, or you can look those up online, or to kind of clear out your lungs so that you can breathe better. Remember to have a daily practice of, some people, it's really helpful to have a routine of, you get up and you say your prayers, and then you do your stretching or your yoga, and don't just get up and grab your phone and start reacting to the news or whatever's going on in your family or your community. First, center yourself. So that, like I said, meditation, grounding, breathing. And then you set the energy for yourself in calmness and more peace. And then as you go out into the world, you're better able to manage or adapt or handle, all the things that are happening, because things happen so quickly now. And the energy might even ramp up. The energy will get busier as we go into April. So just know that out there, it might be chaotic or busy, but if you don't set your energy with your intention, with your breath, with your meditation, or however you sit and drink your morning tea or coffee and reflect, then you're just letting your energy be set by whatever is coming at you or whatever's happening. And there isn't any definition about, here's what I'm bringing and here's what I'm sitting in. You're just a reaction or response to whatever. And that is not really helpful. So just recognizing, and not to judge yourself if you're feeling anxious or sad or angry, but just to be aware of that. And then we get into energy healing, which is our emotions, but you can regulate your emotions simply by your breath. That's one thing. Using acupressure points on your body to calm yourself. I also use crystals. Like I have it's not huge, but I have a black tourmaline here, and I have a senilite. Those crystals, sometimes when I go out, I take them with me, or I even take them to sleep with them. Because a lot happens on the dream world too, because we're processing a lot of energy. I had a really strange, funny dream that I was floating around and driving beds, me and my sisters. And
are you looking for that hard to find item, spiritual item that your loved one wants to always get, but you don't know where to check out? Why not check us out here underneath HauntingLivePodcast.com. Underneath our store, though, we actually have tons of items from dream catchers, crystals, so many more for you. Check us out underneath HauntingLivePodcast.com.
And the bed was floating around the streets and stuff. I mean, I just I'm like, okay, I don't even know what that. And they were saying, well, you're going the wrong way or something. I don't know. It's just, okay. So we're connecting in, with processing things in the dream world, using crystals, using your breath. Another one is essential oils are really wonderful. Frankincense, myrrh, and sandalwood are very healing, powerful essential oils that I like to use. Using a bath like putting a cup or more of sea salt in a bath. If you can, add a little, make sure it's a clean oil, like a lavender or even a rose, or if you're having trouble breathing, like a eucalyptus or a rosemary, and breathe in that steam either in a shower, or you don't want to put oils on your hands and then rub them in your eyes. And if you put on oils on your body, essential oils, and they're stinging and burning, you need to put lotion or oil on there, not hot water, because hot water will drive it in, and it'll be more, because sometimes people are sensitive to essential oils. But yeah, it's if you know how to use them. Like I said, don't rub your eyes with oils, but just you can use a carrier lotion or any type of oil to kind of calm it down. But you can also put, if you're having trouble breathing, get a pot of water, and be very careful when you're dealing with fire and hot water, but put it on the stove and then put some peppermint or some eucalyptus and breathe it in. If you can't get into the shower or the bath every hour or something, and put a towel over your head, but be very careful because that water is hot. So you want to really watch what you're doing, and then just breathe in the steam. But when you're breathing in essential oils, you're changing your brain chemistry, because those little microscopic molecules are going up through your nose and actually into the brain. So it can be very relaxing. Lavender is wonderful for relaxing. So those are some of the things that I do, short of an energy healing, or I have an energy healing class that's coming up at the end of April, and I'm going to be doing other classes, which will be on my website, that will help. And like I said, the meditation video, we're working on it. The meditation that really aligns you and helps you to really relax. It's a wonderful teaching for people, and not that hard to do, just a matter of taking 15 minutes or 20 minutes a day to really just calm your nervous system.
So is that something that you do quite regularly for your clients, to help them kind of relax and get into that meditative state? Or is that something that you learned to do yourself first?
Yes. Yes. I've learned through many different teachers that I've worked with, and then my guides showed me how to kind of like incorporate that. So first, when we learn, you go to a teacher. I like to learn how they teach it, what their modality is. And it used to be that people would usually train with a Buddhist or a healer or a shaman, whatever, or a temple, or a whatever religion that was. They would have one teacher that they would go to, and they would stay with that one for the rest of their life. Now, because we have the internet and Zoom and we can fly around and do everything, people just go a little bit here, a little bit there. They do all kinds of different things. I think it's better to stay with somebody and learn what they're doing, at least till you feel like you have it, you've got it, whether it's a weekend training or a 5-year training, or a year, an 18-month, whatever it is. Then, and do as they say. And then once you learn that and you feel secure in that, then go to somebody else. And then if you want to learn that, but I mean, I know that that's not what people do, and that's okay. It's just that you get kind of like a variety of a lot of different things. And sometimes those things can conflict. So it can be confusing. So you have to really in this Aquarius energy, it's about becoming your own sovereign to yourself, to connecting with your higher self. And there isn't any one leader that you're supposed, like the Piscean age was the ideas, the philosophy, the one religion where you would follow that and stay with that. But in the Aquarian age, it's more about you, or the group consciousness, or becoming your own guru. So it's like, and people aren't used to that, because it can be really helpful to have someone that you're following what they say. But what happens when what they say isn't working anymore, or that falls apart, or that you start questioning, like, wait a minute. So we're kind of like, that can be uncomfortable and confusing and offsetting for the nervous system, because you're like, what is the answer? So that's when we need to keep going back to our own inner guidance system, which is what we're learning, which is one of the things we're learning that's new and different. I still like following what a teaching is saying till you feel like you've got it. That's what I did. And then at some point, my guide started communicating to me and just showing me, here's where we are. And in this energy that we're in right now, I like going with the flow of allowing it to show up, spirit or whatever to show up. And one day it could be this way, and then all of a sudden it's another way. Well, my life, this is really bad, and then all of a sudden it's better. So that's the energy we're in. So if you just kind of go with the flow, which is can be, because most people, like, they want to plan, they want, here's what you do. Like, I always wanted it to be, when this happens, when someone says something like this, you do this. Like, where's the rule book of how you deal with this? And I found that that isn't there a lot of the times, that I have to keep going to source or my higher self, that every situation is different. There isn't like a one size fits all, like, you always do this when that happens, or you always do this. And because it would be, then you would just have to memorize the rule book, and then you would know. And you could just look it up and go, okay, here's what you do. But now it, much to people's dismay, it isn't like that anymore.
So things are so chaotic nowadays, and the energy's everywhere. There's not a certain way to deal with ways that there used to be, right? So, like, how nowadays would you recommend people deal with energies as they encounter them?
So your energy is, say your aura is 2 or 3 feet around your main aura is 2 or 3 feet around you. You have a mental aura and a spiritual aura that go out to 15 and then to 25 feet. But your main aura, let's start with, the beginning here. Let's start with the main issue, is your energy field, and maybe your crown chakra, which sits on top of your head. So your crown chakra is how you connect to the divine and your spirit and your higher self and your guides. Okay. Your energy field is here. So when you set your crown chakra and your energy field by doing your breath work, doing your meditation, by being aware of frequency, when you set that, then you're able to respond to what's happening out there or in life, rather than to be a reaction to it. And you can come up to the center of the 6th chakra, which is what I teach. And actually, the center of your 6th chakra is the place of the observer. If you're down in your lower chakras, the 1st chakra, stability or trying to feel safe, or so are you in survival, trying to figure out where safety is? Or is your 1st chakra grounded in stability and your community, your home, what you have is in the 1st chakra, which is at the bottom of your tailbone. The 2nd chakra is right below your belly button. It's the emotional center, how you feel. So you can set that. And then your 3rd chakra above the belly button is how you manage your daily life, if you are controlling or being controlled or manipulated, or how your general health is. So when you tune into these centers and you're grounded, you need to be grounded and stable in those areas. And then you can come up to the center of your 6th chakra and you can observe more. And when you are breathing and meditating and coming up into the center of your 6th chakra, you're able to be a little bit more neutral to yourself or people and situations. And you can observe. What I like to do is ask spirit or ask my higher self, what would you have me do here? Now, we also want to connect with our heart chakra, which is in the center of our chest, which is love and compassion for ourselves and others. So when you are aware of these centers, because you've meditated or you've run your energy or you've said hello to them, and simply by just listening to this talk, you may have a sense of like, oh, if I don't react and respond, if I don't react to energy, and I sit up here and I observe myself and others, then I'll know what, if I need to take an action, or I just need to breathe and be with it and allow the universe to show up and show an answer. But who should you trust? Who do you trust? Well, one hopes you have a measure of trust for yourself. So do you believe yourself? Do you think have you cleaned out your energy field enough so that you have a sense of who you are and you can trust? One would hope you can trust yourself, and then trusting your spirit, your guides, or what you call God, goddess, or creator, or Buddha, or whoever that is, some angel guide. So you have trust in that's going to be honest with you or have your best interest at heart, whatever spirit or your higher self is. And then trusting in other people. So are they trust? I'm not saying you should trust people. I'm saying people will show you who they are. Let them show you who you are. Who they are, not who you are. But like with my sister, I can trust that she's always late. She's always been late. She's always late. She's leaving when she said she'd be there. That happens always. But will she tell me the truth? Always. She cannot hold it in. When she has something come up, she will let me know. Even though I don't like what she's saying or agree with her, I know that she's going to be honest with me. But she's also going to be late because she's shown me that's who she is. So you let people show you who they are. You observe them. Be compassionate because you're grounded. And then so that sounds like a lot, but it's actually, maybe once you practice it, it gets simpler. But there isn't a prescribed, sometimes you need like boundaries. Sometimes you need to be more generous. Sometimes. So to me, when I keep going to my higher self or to creator source and asking, what would you have me do? How do I deal with this? The answer will come. So it's a matter of asking and then allowing the universe to show up and show you what might be an answer or a course of action to take. But it isn't always neat and tidy like that. Sometimes it's confusing. Sometimes you aren't meant to know yet. Sometimes it's very clear. Sometimes when you do that, the answer will come. But I do feel like an important part of that is setting your energy so your life isn't by happenstance or whatever's going on or a mistake or so that's why I do that in my readings. And that's what I teach people. Like, you can get a reading and then you walk out the door and something else happens because you changed your thoughts simply because you looked at it and you changed your beliefs or your thoughts or your feelings about it. And other people are changing their beliefs and thoughts and feelings. So you can't, because I used to have readings where people want me to go, so what do I do to meet my soulmate? I walk out the door, like they want me to say, walk out the door, turn left, go 3 blocks down. That will be the person at the restaurant, and he will ask you out and you'll get married. I mean, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't, life isn't like that. It's more like, how are you loving yourself? Because when you are ready, that person will find you. And if they don't, you're okay anyway. So why, it isn't, so it's kind of like, what are the questions that we're asking? What are the things that we're looking at? Most people want to feel better. So how do we feel better? How do we nurture and kind of reset our frequency or our nervous system So I just did a video about that this morning, talking about all this crazy stuff in politics in the world and stuff. But really, what's going on, and the video's like time to prepare yourself. And maybe this video will be called that too, because what are you preparing for? Resetting your nervous system, resetting your frequency so that you are intentionally setting your space, rather than it just whoever, anybody can come up and say anything to you. Anything can happen. And how is that affecting you? And how are you having relationship with yourself and your environment, the people around you? How are you setting that? What is your intention for that? Doesn't mean that that's going to happen. And then we come back to going with the flow, rather than trying to pre-plan it all out. And, you're going to walk out the door, you're going to turn left, you're going to go 3 blocks, and then you're going to sit in the restaurant and there he is. That it doesn't happen like that. But it also probably isn't.
Yeah, most likely it's not. So you mentioned you teach this as part of your courses that you do. So let's jump to that next and talk a little bit about what you want to share about your courses and your classes that you teach coming up.
Yeah. So I'm doing a class, The Art of Healing. I don't know when this video is coming out, but that's April 29th, from the comfort of your own home on Zoom. And that's really how to set your energy and your frequency, and learning the basics of hands-on healing. Like when we hurt, we put our hands on, it's a natural thing that we do. So we'll learn how to send healing energy and open our heart, which affects, because you are made out of skin, muscles, bones, organs, which are made out of cells, which are made out of atoms that are made out of energy. So your frequency, your energy. So when we go to the frequency, and I'll be teaching people how to calm themselves, their nervous system, and how to do basic hands-on type of energy healing. So I teach that, and I have other courses that will be coming up on my meditation, which will be coming out. That'll all be on my website. You can go on my channel. I have a spiritual video that comes out every Thursday. So if you subscribe, when the video comes up, you'll see if it's political or if you just want the spiritual. And then sometimes I do little shows like this with people and do some teachings. I also have a members that I do the second and fourth Saturday of every month on my channel, where I answer questions and we do like little guided meditations and such, and I support people in that way. You can also sign up for my newsletter on my website, and that I'll put out when classes are coming up. I put out a monthly newsletter that goes into your email, and that way you'll be able to see what classes are coming up, because I'll have more classes coming up this year. And the meditation video will be coming up, the where to connect with that.
And other than your YouTube channel that you do your videos on, where else can people kind of find you if they want to reach out to you for a reading, or if they want to check out your videos on YouTube? How can they find you?
Well, SIBYLharmony.com, spelled S-I. It's an unusual spelling, SIBYL. My grandmother used to call me Sibby, if that helps. SIBYLharmony.com. And you can go on there and you can find my classes, my personal sessions, which I still do, and the platform to how to get on the meditation videos will be on there when those come out. They aren't out yet, but they will be coming out hopefully within the next month or two. But whatever courses I'm doing will be on there on that website. So other than YouTube, you can go just right to the website. I do go on Facebook, but not very much. I'm kind of busy with my classes and my personal sessions. So,
Well, no, that's good. That keeps you busy, and you know what you need to do day to day, and It's good not to
Yeah.
get too bogged down with stuff as well, right? So
Right.
get all that energy sorted out first. So, well, thank you so much, SIBYL, for coming on our show. It's been wonderful to finally get you on. I know we've been going back and forth trying to get you scheduled here on Haunting Live. But thank you for taking time today and talking to us about some energy and stuff like that you deal with day to day. It's been great hearing your insight on that. So thank you.
Well, it's been delightful, and I really enjoyed this. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Anytime. Thank you. Miss one of our episodes? Replay our episodes on Rhode Island Broadcasting. Show your support for Haunting Live by supporting our broadcast partner, Rhode Island Broadcasting. Find them on YouTube.